Great to have your company. My name is Libbi Gorr. This is Disrupt.radio. Great conversation ahead. Kim Williams was appointed chair of the wonderfully significant cultural and broadcasting institution, the ABC, this year. Kim, great to have your company today.
With you, Libby.
It's
long time since we've seen each other.
It's been a very long time. But interestingly enough, Kim, I didn't realise that you first applied to be managing director of the ABC when you were 28, like 1983. This position has been 45 years in the making. What gave you the confidence then to know that you wanted to lead?
Well, I thought I had a handle on what the ABC needed, and I put my hat in the ring. I might add that subsequently, when the ABC appointed Jeffrey Whitehead, and that didn't work out very well either for the ABC, for Jeffrey, or for the chair of the board then, Ken Meyer. Ken apologised to me and said, "Look, I really think we should have taken the risk and appointed you."
That's interesting.
And I said, "No, Ken, you made a very good decision. I was far too young, and I got the CEO position at the Australian Film Commission on the rebound, and that equipped me much better to be an eventual, leader in media."
You've had such exposure to the great leaders of our time, Rupert Murdoch, through marriage, obviously Margaret Dovey, who married Gough Whitlam. She was a feminist leader and someone who was before her time in terms of innovation. Gough Whitlam himself. Can you tell me stories of what you've learned from each of them, what you've chosen to incorporate into your own style, what you've chosen to discard? For instance, Gough was very crash or crash through. Do you see that as an effective style of leadership?
I think that was a very necessary style of leadership at the time that he was the leader of the Australian Labor Party. The Labor Party was pretty resistant to policy change and to internal administrative change, and Gough recognised that it was a make or break moment, and that if he was to actually be able to do the things that he wanted to do for Australia, change was obligatory.
But what did you learn from him, Kim? Is it courage?
Courage and never give up. Never, ever, ever give up. And people often say, what's plan B? And I say, listen, plan B is rubbish. Plan B is plan A. Spend all your time making sure plan A works.
Does that
plan
mean
B is something you make up on the run if plan A doesn't work, but you don't invest time in a secondary plan. You invest your time in the first plan.
Does that mean you're not flexible, or
No, plan A hopefully has agility incorporated in it. I mean, you've got to deal with people. I have an old saying: there is never any such thing as a difficult problem. When you think about it, most problems have natural solution paths. They may have certain complexity in them, but problems usually have clear and evident solutions if you work them over. There are only ever difficult people. Never such thing as a difficult problem, only ever difficult people.
So do you just subscribe to that Machiavellian thing of when you take over a new organisation or a new position, the blood has to flow, you need to get rid of the difficult people, and then you need to be seen to drop the knife?
No, I'm not a person who manages by fear or manages by way of ruthless sort of destructive means. I think management really is about having clarity of purpose and being really devoted to performance, and from the quality of your purpose and your performance against it, that informs your judgment. And that you should always lead by example. Be truthful, be simple, be direct, have a plan, declare your plan, be open to all comers, listen very closely and really attentively and widely, and set forth. But you've got to have a plan. I have another saying, you develop sayings over the years, and I'm old enough to have a number of them, that if you don't know your destination, you will get lost and run out of provisions. So it's very important in any kind of enterprise management that you know what you want to achieve and you know what it's going to require.
Kim Williams is
Uh,
on the radio, the chair of the ABC. Rupert Murdoch said, when you're a catalyst for change, you make enemies, and I'm proud of the ones I've got. Do you subscribe to that?
no, I never seek to make enemies. I'm a great believer that the thing that drives you and keeps you going is positive
Yeah.
energy, not negative energy. And I'm not good at maintaining um, a body of enemies who are targets on my part. I couldn't care less about that. I'm much more interested in doing things.
It's exciting to make change happen, Kim Williams, and I can see that you've got it in your gut, that you've got a fire going. You're talking about a campfire and bringing everyone together around the ABC. Do you ever, when you look at the enormity of the task, given what is going on with media at the moment, do you ever have any self-doubt, or is the key to it just belief?
Look, I think if you don't have self doubt, you're not a very bright person. Um, Doubt is an important thing. Reflecting on things and listening to a wide variety of inputs is fundamental to effective leadership. I don't think that any real leader can ever operate in an environment where they are fueled by exclusive confidence. I think that's just plain immature and silly.
So how would you describe then your ambition for the ABC as a leader? Who do you want to be?
What I want to see is the ABC rediscover a passion in its commitment to the Australian nation and to rediscover its obligation to Australian audiences. And there are many audiences in Australia. They divide by ethnicity, by language, by age, by geography. I mean, this is a very large and complicated country with a comparatively small but very feisty population. And the ABC is there with a national responsibility to serve them all, to serve them as a partner in their news and analysis life on events of consequence in this country and internationally, and to celebrate the intellectual and creative life and aspiration of the Australian people. And I think that the fundamental task at hand is for the ABC to be absolutely resolute in its dedication to the nation and giving life to that purpose.
Sounds very exciting, Kim Williams. I'm so glad that you could be with us and put that out into the world, out into the universe. May I hope it manifests, as my friend Bill Lang would say. Great to have your company. Thank you for being with me. I really appreciate it.
It's a pleasure, Libby. Have a great day.
You too. Kim Williams, Chair of the ABC. Coming up, can we talk about women on boards? Nicola Wakefield Evans is the chair of the 30% Club. Yep, there are more women on boards, but are they running the place? That's on Disrupt.